What's up, guys? How it has been? Today I'll just talk about how to learn the best. I might not be the best presentation giver ever, but I have a lot of useful knowledge that you can use. I've been learning, uh, I'd say academically for more than 7 years. When I mean 7 years, we all learn every day, all day, every day, for our whole lifetime. But I mean academically, I've been uh, studying for in the past years. I'm sure I do not have any, uh, how can I say, proof to show you that, but I have studied for 12 hours, 12 hours for 2.5 years. 2.5 years. That shit wasn't easy. And it was just, the power of the routine. Just, remember that. Power of the routine. Routine gives you everything. It's just hard thing to set up, but if you set it up, you're just fucking monster. And you can learn anything and do anything you want. That's the key. That was the first thing. Routine. I set up the routine and that was good. First thing. Second thing. Second thing. I did learning a lot. I learned, a lot of languages. I was just, curious human. As a, any young man or woman, you should be curious. Everyone is curious. Uh, I was just, doing everything. You know, the most important thing I did was changing subjects. That was the best thing. I did a lot, I'd say, but when you're studying for 12 hours, it's kind of good to have a lot. You know, I was doing, I'd say, for 3 hours a subject, that's what I was doing, four subjects or three subjects a day. And I was be, I was able to do that. I was learning, Russian, Japanese, then physics. Then after that day, I was learning math or chemistry. It was hard to keep it up, but all I did was learning. I didn't have any problem or, you know, interest other than doing that. That's why I was so good about it. But if you're just, grown up person, I'm sure you have a lot of problems than that. So just focus on one thing or two things. But I did the, you know, learning a lot. And because I did learning a lot, and I learned a lot of new subjects, that was the key for me. I learned a lot of new subjects. That's why I was good at it. And what I did, that's my philosophy. Let's just select one thing I want to talk about with the examples. Um, yeah, TV. Yeah, I'm making a TV. I'm making a TV. And how to make a good TV? But let's just first think about it. You should have the motherboard of it. Of course, the screen, quality screen is all right, and you should have the programming for it. At this day, I would just ask for ChatGPT that I want to become the best TV maker. What should I practice every day to be the best one? And it should just give me and say to it that be objective, take your time and give me accurate answer rather than fast answer, and it will give you correct answer. I promise you, because that's how it works. Everyone just trying to bitch about how AI is bad. Bruh, shut the fuck up. Nobody gives a fuck about that. You ain't gonna change nothing. Just use a tool. It's just a tool. Yeah, sure, it has some downsides, but just use a tool. You cannot change anything. Yeah. So back to the topic, making the TV. And probably he will say that if you want to become the best, you should, let's say, learn about how components work. Let's say we learned that, but it took 2 days to learn that and practice a lot. You know, and that's it. And then we should just look into other things. I like to watch. YouTube videos on it first. If you are new to something, let's say back then it was, arm wrestling, and let's say, I was new, I didn't know what to do, so I said, you know what, let's just watch professionals. I watched some professionals. I watched a lot. Actually, that's the another thing for me. I watch things a lot. The first time I learned English was uh, eighth grade. I was eighth grade, and I didn't even put on the work. I was just a lazy kid. I wasn't lazy, but nobody had me uh, guiding, and that was my problem. Nobody was guide. Nobody was a role model for me. So I didn't know what to do. So I just watched YouTube videos all day, and I was watching Clash of Clans videos, the video game Clash of Clans, but I didn't have any content in my language. Nobody was playing in my language. So I saw that there's only English content. So that's why I was forced to watch. And I was just trying to watch it, and it was just fun. And I didn't care about the language. I said, you know what, I'll just watch this shit. I don't care anymore. Yeah, I watched it. And after 3 months, started to pick up some words. After 6 months, I understood what he was talking about mostly. After 2 years, I understood everything. Everything. Yeah. 2 years. Just passively watching, not even fucking studying. And when it comes to, professional teaching, I was an English teacher also. Just doing it as a side business. I wouldn't call myself a teacher, but yeah, I also know how teaching works. Kinda, I have pedagogic. You know, how can I say that? Pedagogic training, I must say. Yeah, training and experience. Yeah. Therefore, I'd not call myself professional at all means. Yeah, I was, but I was just doing that, but I was better than every English teacher out there. Cause you know what? They just learned from the academy for like, I don't know, 15 years, but I was just watching videos. I still do. It's been like, I don't know, 9 years or so. Yeah, I was just so good at accents. I just, dropped it off now a bit because I do not give a fuck about that anymore. But yeah, I was good at it. But of course, the teachers are gonna be better than me because all they do is practice. They all just learn and practice every day. But that doesn't mean you're bad. They're just better, but that's their profession, and I'm just really good at this, and I am much much better at my profession than them. Imagine someone competing with you in your profession, and that's you're doing for all of your life. That's just I wouldn't consider myself a professional after that anymore because I'm so low on the bar. I should be just so high that nobody can reach me. That's how it works. You want to be the best, and you have to be the best to have a living out of it. Yeah, I remember in the university, in the college. I didn't finish college, or I mean by university. 4 year one, bachelor's. Every English teacher, loved me because I had the fucking potential to become the best. Imagine someone not even studying something, but being that good. It would make you fucking jealous. And remember, guys, you have something that people are jealous of. I always called myself someone that didn't have any talents because I do not have. After the age of 20, I recognized, I discovered that I have strength, talent, strength as a person, powerlifting. Like, I didn't know I was that powerful. It's just, God's gift. I did not know. And I fucking probably wasted because I never had the opportunity to train with real equipment for my childhood. But yeah, I had talent. I did not know I had talent. The English isn't talent. I just watched and put down the work without knowing. Yeah, you can have the talent, but if you do not care about it, just do the work and you will find your talent at the end. And that's about it, guys. About that, just learning, have the routine, and the most important, I forgot. God damn, the best students. This is at the end of the video, so if you watched to this point, thank you, and you got the best point also. The best student also have the most interest toward that topic. You cannot discourage the best student. It doesn't matter what you do. He will just put down the work and research himself and find that thing. You just need to be the most interested person, interested in the topic as a person. Yeah, you should just have the best interest in it, and you shouldn't think about anything or giving up. Or is this for me? If you selected it, if you took that for yourself as a profession, as a skill, you should be committed to it. You shouldn't be a weak person. You should be committed to it. It's just shame to do the thing halfly. Or, I'd just rather not do it than do it halfly because that's how it is. Yeah, you need to be interested. So first, you need to have routine. Second, uh, you can alternate with this optional. You shouldn't really think about this one. This is optional. I did not consider that. First, you need to have routine. Second, you need to learn the most important part. And let me tell you, 28 rule. The 20% of the things usually matter. You can learn about electronics. Um, we're talking about the TV making. You can learn. We're talking about the TV making. You can learn about the electronics. All of the electronics, the theory of the electronics, but you're not gonna be good at making TVs. You should know what matters in making TVs. In speaking English, the speaking part is the most important because that's what impresses people and that's what makes you look good and look fluent. So that's why I focused on that, listening and speaking. That was the key. I focused on those. You should focus on the best thing, yeah. First one, routine. Second one, you should focus on the skills that is, important, that makes sense, that, does something, have functionality. The third one is what we said. The third one is having the interest. Interest is the most important. Um, and yeah, interest is the most important. You should have the interest and you should be committed to it. You shouldn't put it half off. That's the fourth one. You should be committed to it and be serious about it. If you're serious about it, you'll do it. Just, desensitize, desensitize yourself from dopamine shit and go for it. You know how it is. I just gave you the info for how to do it. If you write this down, you do not need anything to know other than that. You fucking know you don't need to watch YouTube shorts. If you don't want to watch YouTube shorts, just pause your history in the YouTube history and delete your history. And it's not gonna give you any shorts or videos anymore. You just can search for it and watch it like that. That's how it is in mine, and I do not watch shorts, and I do not even consider watching because I do not have some. It's not even interesting anymore. Yeah, you know how these things work. Anyways, guys, that was it for today. If you have any thoughts, share it with me, and I hope I can help you today with my a little bit of knowledge. Have a nice day, y'all. Stay safe.